Hey, let's get into it. There's a moment when belief stops being abstract and it becomes personal. It's one thing to say that you trust God when nothing is being asked of you, but it's another thing altogether when obedience actually costs us something. When following Him means letting go, of stepping forward, of placing something you love into His hands. If you've walked with God for any amount of time, maybe you felt this tension. That quiet moment where you know this is the step, this is the thing that will show whether I trust him or just say that I do. James 2:21 to 23. Was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered up his son Isaac on the altar? You see that faith was active along with his works, and faith was completed by his works. And scripture was fulfilled that says, Abraham believed God, and it was counted to him as righteousness, and he was called a friend of God. James is pointing back here thousands of years to Abraham, a figure that every Jewish believer would immediately recognize, the most important one. And he reaches back into one of the most difficult moments in Abraham's life, Genesis 22. God asks Abraham to offer his son, his one and only son, Isaac, the son that he'd been waiting for, the promise that he had built his life around. And in that moment, Abraham doesn't just affirm belief, he acts in faith. James isn't contradicting the earlier statement um, in Genesis 15 that Abraham was counted righteous because he believed God. He's showing now that belief came to its full expression in the action because in the flow of Scripture, faith isn't just declared once, it's revealed over time. It's proven, it's strengthened, it's brought to maturity. That phrase here that faith was active along with his works, it matters. The word carries the idea of working together, of cooperating, not competing forces, not faith versus works, but a faith that expresses itself through action. And that faith was complete, not created, completed, brought to its intended goal. Abraham's obedience didn't replace his faith, his obedience revealed it. It took something internal and it made it visible. And this is how God works in us too. He doesn't grow our faith in comfortable theory, He grows it in moments for us of surrender, in practical decisions that stretch us, in obedience that feels risky, and steps that don't come with full clarity. Because that's where trust becomes real. That's when formation, that personal spiritual formation, happens. It's where belief moves from just words and a head knowledge into a reality. And the result is striking. Abraham is called a friend of God, not just someone who believes in God, but someone who walks with Him, close, relational. He's known. So here's the question: what's your Isaac? What's the thing that God is asking you to trust Him with? Not just in theory, but in action. Maybe it's something you're holding really tightly. Maybe it's a plan, a relationship, a sense of control. Maybe it's something He's asking you to step into. Maybe you've been hesitating. Listen, you don't need to have it all figured out. Abraham didn't, but he took a step. That's where his faith was completed, where it broke into his life. And so what would it look like to trust God with something that actually matters today? We'll start here, wherever you find yourself. God goes with you today.